My name is Rosemarie Fiore. I'm an artist from the Bronx, New York, and I was born in New York State, right outside of the city. I went to the University of Virginia for studying art history and studio art, and I also studied at the Wimbledon School of Art and at the Sicily College of Art in Florence, Italy, for my undergraduate degree. As for graduate degree, I ended up going to the Art Institute of Chicago and studying in the fiber department and getting my master's in fiber. Right after graduating from the Art Institute of Chicago, I was at a residency program called Skowhegan in Maine. There, I began using a car to create artwork. From there, I began to think about popular technology and how I could utilize it to create drawing tools and painting tools. So I quickly moved on to lawnmowers and pinball machines, amusement park rides, and such. Right after 2001 in the fall, right after 9/11, I was scheduled to go to a residency in New Mexico, in Roswell, New Mexico, through the Anderson Museum of Art. And so I left New York basically a month or two after 9/11, and I spent an entire year in New Mexico. And during that year, as all artists do, we tried to make sense of the environment we're in and what has happened in our lives. And so I spent the year really away from my community in New York and surrounded by this incredible natural environment and beautiful wide open skies. And I began to really think about our slow march towards war and rockets, and wanted to utilize the kineticness of rockets as painting tools, which was impossible because rockets blow up your paintings. I would guess that I've created over 400 smoke paintings of various sizes, and the latest ones that I'm creating are directly onto the asphalt, and they're very large, like 100 by 36 feet. And then there are little ones that I've created that are maybe 8 by 11 inches. And so what keeps bringing me back, I don't know, but something does keep on bringing me back. I want to create a different kind of tool that will create a different kind of mark, that will create a different kind of motion, that my body will use in a different way. Some tools are for me that I can move on my own without a forklift, and some are much larger. There is a direct sort of dance that I sometimes have with the tool when it's smaller, and then there's an indirect dance that happens that actually the machine that the tool was made for has more of the dance with the tool than I do. So what my tools usually do is they harness the smoke and they direct it downward, because smoke naturally wants to go upward. So painters often lose their pigment to gravity, but in my case, the pigment is always floating upwards. So all my tools have to be engineered in a way where they direct all of the pigment downward. So that means that I have to think a lot about containing in some way and consider the pressure that's released when these pyrotechnics go off, because the pressure is what propels the pigments in one direction or another. With the new tools I've been creating, with Corretto and Workhorse that I used in the performance, I've been exploring the imagery that is on the Sicilian cart. I'm Sicilian American. I spent time in Sicily in 2019 in residence. Sicily to me is about my mother and my mother's family, just exploring that side of my heritage. And that has always been a very challenging thing for me to explore. Going to Sicily just opened my eyes completely to a part of me that I had kind of closed off. And I began really going deep into my mother's death and trying to, finally begin to mourn her death after about 10 years. I became very connected to the Sicilian cart, mainly because in a Sicilian American's house, there's always a Sicilian cart miniature that is like a souvenir. And so that was the case in my house too. The geometric pattern and the simple abstraction in the cart that was in the area of Sicily where I was, which was near Syracuse, is all about these checkers, these red and white checkers, these blue and white checkers. And so I began sort of exploring that patterning and incorporating it into my smoke painting works. Workhorse is the piece that I used outside today. It's a tool that has over 18 pyrotechnic paintbrush heads on it, and it's based on the fire club. And a fire club is the stick that I put together, and I'd put the pyrotechnic head on top of it. Well, the fire club is what the Green Man used to carry during medieval times, and he was the first person to come out during a parade and shoot from his fire club a pyrotechnic bundle that was very loud, and it would alert everybody that this parade that they knew about was going to happen. And they still in Sicily shoot fireworks out in the morning when they're trying to get people to come to celebrations. But those fireworks are shot out from the church facade rather than a person holding a fire club. So this fire club was always fascinating to me, and has become sort of the main structure from which I build all of my twirling and rolling pyrotechnic paintbrushes. They're really fire clubs. And so what I've done with Workhorse is combine this medieval mythology or person with the Sicilian cart. And there were some that I used today that were really great. There was a horseshoe one that just kept on going, and it was really funny to me because I made these two horseshoes that were, I think they were made in opposite directions so that the hoof would have gone one way and the hoof would have gone the other way. And it kept on going and going. It was funny to me because I felt like it was a horse that was stepping on the painting. And I really enjoyed that tool a lot, and it was a spinning tool so I could spin it around. And that was like a pleasant surprise to me. That tool was just a lot of fun, and it made me smile under my mask and everything like that. So there's always surprises that happen.